Guys, welcome back to Quick Notes with Chris on. Today we're going to be reviewing the book Getting Things Done by David Allen. This is a really interesting book, especially seeing as though it gives you direct principles that you can apply literally the second you click off of this video and start putting into your life to make sure that you're more productive. So if you're a type of person who maybe struggles a little bit with procrastination or putting things off consistently or getting things done when they need to, then I highly suggest you read this book a little bit more in depth. But what I'll try to do today is give you the brief summary specifically of the pipelines that he applies in his life to make sure that everything that he needs to get done is done in a timely manner, which is why it's called GTD, getting things done. So the first thing he establishes sort of like a process or a pipeline. So it's called capturing, process, organize, review, and engage. So the first one is capture. So capture basically means understand what it is that you need done. So is it what is the things that you need done today? Sending the email, giving a call to your friend, making sure that you do the shopping before you get home. It's basically understanding the tasks that you need to have done. That's the simple, capturing the tasks that you need to have done in your mind. That's really all it takes. So first, understanding what is it that you might potentially need to get done. Now, number two is processing it. So processing it basically means putting it into a category. So he talks things about, is it actionable? Which means, is it actionable right now? For example, something like, sending an email or replying to a text might take 30 seconds. Now, if it's something like calling your friend to their birthday, it might take 20 minutes. So if it's actionable, that means that will it get in the way of anything else? So if it's like, generally speaking, 30 seconds, replying to a text, he says, do that right now. Just get it out of the way. Don't even add that to any list. That's something that can be done straight away and basically move on. So the answer to is it actionable should be either yes or no. Now, if it's yes, that means do it literally right now. So generally speaking, that's like short tasks. So something like brushing your teeth. So that's just anything that's like really, really short. That's generally what the book uses as an example for. If it's no, that means it falls into two categories. You want to put it into organize, which is the next, like it's a little bit later. So put it into organize, where you review it a little bit further, understand what it is that you need done. The next thing is, should it even be there? So it's either going to be something that you're going to understand when it is that you're going to prioritize time for it, or the other thing is that it shouldn't even be there. Now, depending on if you're honest with yourself or whatever it is, that's how you're going to start becoming and like snowballing to be more productive. The next thing that it talks about is organize. So when he talks about organize, he basically wants to process and organize, put things into different tasks, into different categories. So the first one, is it a project? So a project means that it's like, it doesn't have a deadline, but it's an aspect of something that might have a deadline. For example, if you're working on a video, okay, there might be different scenes that you need to shoot or different things that you need to edit. And although you might not need it done straight away, it's definitely a project that needs to be worked on. Or for example, a car. Working on a car, let's say you have a project car, you're working on the car and there's certain aspects that you need to get certain times of the day. So there's not necessarily any urgent time to it. The next one is time. So this one's tasks that are time specific. So if that's something like calling your friend on his birthday, you need to do that on his birthday. Or something like making sure you get the groceries for cooking before the day ends, before it closes. That's a time specific one. And then finally, the one is context. So context just basically, is it general or is it important? So something like caring about your health, that's important, but it's not time specific. Or something like just literally making a list of everything that you need done, that's general, that's not important. And then once you can understand these three things, whether it's a project, time, or context, then you can start figuring out where it is that you're going to delegate your time throughout the day or throughout the week to make sure that you start actively ticking some of these things off, working towards getting it all. Now, the final thing, just the second last thing is review. So this one's really important to understanding your productivity overall. So once you basically mastered this process or understand it and implemented it properly, the next thing that you need to do is start reviewing if it's legitimate, like if there's any improvements that you can make. Now, just so you know, there's always going to be improvements that you can make. But what's more important is understanding if there was improvements that you can make on the fly. Like literally right now, it's like, okay, that was really a time one, that was really a context one. I shouldn't have basically spent 20 minutes on this, I needed in order to get this done. And reviewing is really important because it's the evaluation process to make sure that you improve the well-oiled machine. It's making sure that no matter what, you are progressing as a person, you are progressing towards doing the right things and basically being a little bit more time conscious so that you overall become more productive. And so in my opinion, this is one of the most important steps. In fact, it's not the most important, but it's probably the second most important, because if you constantly review, you constantly evaluate, then you know that you're eventually going to get better, especially if you apply the things that you notice. Now, the final thing is obviously engage. So it's about starting all the things you've planned. That's literally what engage just means. So now that you've set up a planned thing, you've done all the actionable ones, the the stuff that you can do literally straight away. Now this one's literally about, okay, well let's just start doing what it is that we set out to do. So now that you've got your whole plan and your blueprint and your map towards basically making sure that you're no longer going to struggle with unproductivity, now the only thing that you're going to lack is execution. Following it through, making sure that you basically put things with deadlines and time frames and stuff like that, with general context and stuff like that, to make sure that you are actively looking towards becoming a more productive person. Now, if you apply this and you constantly look at it that way, then it's just a matter of time before you start getting a lot of things done than you probably think that you should. But he also talks about overall reviewing short-term and long-term goals. Because if you can understand what it is that your long-term or short-term goal, like short-term being anywhere between like a year or 6 months to a year, then you can understand what your daily events and what your daily planning, how close it's actually getting you to that short-term goal. Whether it's a certain amount of money in the bank, whether it's a certain amount of sales that you're looking towards achieving, or whether it's just a weight goal or a health goal. If you can basically monitor your day-to-day activities, then obviously you can project whether or not you're going to actually achieve your short-term goal. So he also talks about that, and so on and so on and so on and so on. And it's really interesting. It really backs up the quote, whatever gets measured is what gets managed. It's very hard to figure out where you can fix things if you don't have a level of understanding on where things are going wrong. Like you can look at a team and it's kind of difficult sometimes to see if they're performing or not. Like if you looked into a room, but if you had like the quantifiable data and you looked at it all and you understand where people are lacking, that's when you can start attributing change. So if people do that in business, if people do that in different marketing firms, people do that in all sorts of different business realms, why are people not doing it with their day-to-day life? Well, that's basically what this book talks about. If you view your mind as like sort of real estate, then therefore you're the CEO of your own body, which is 100% true. That you're the CEO of your own business. You don't need a manager, you're your own CEO. So how is it that you're running your business? When are the times that you're open for it? When are the times you're closed for it? Where are the times that you're losing money, not effectively investing your time as a business? And it's a really interesting concept towards getting things done. GTD for short. So I highly suggest you start utilizing that if you ever need any sort of pep talk. It's like Nike, just do it. GTD. Getting things done. Like you sort of say that to motivate you guys and make sure that you're actively looking towards becoming a more productive person. But yeah, definitely, if you view yourself as a business or you view yourself as a CEO, especially like if you're in any type of freelance field, well, I'm talking about whether you run your own makeup business on the side, or even if you're an athlete or you're a musician, those types of things are literally stuff that you should look towards viewing yourself as a freelancer. Like you're literally your own business. You are the person that's making everything work. So are you treating your time, which is literally your business's commodity? If you think about it, like your time is your business's commodity. That's your thing that you have on offer for people to buy off of you. Are you spending it effectively? And in order to spend it effectively, you do need a process. You do need a pipeline. Every good business does. Every good business has some level of bookkeeping, some level of understanding, tasks that they need to do every day, schedules that they need to keep. Oh, okay, we need the intake coming in this way. We need to start this much by this month. If not, where do we need to lower our intake? And so on and so on and so on. So if people do that within their businesses, why aren't you doing it in yours? And what I mean by yours is yourself. So that, in my opinion, is the very first step. If you don't have these levels of scheduling, capturing, understanding what it is that you need to do day by day, and then on top of that, reviewing the process and following through what you set out, why aren't you? Like, you're just going to be struggling to struggling to plan. And if you struggle to plan, that's just a failure to plan, is a plan to fail. No matter what, you're going to not succeed if you don't have a plan in place. That's just the facts. Because without a plan in place, you're just winging it. And if you're winging it, you're going to get winging it results. And chances are, if you're winging it, you're not going to like what you see. So this is definitely one of those things that you can, there is no reason why you can't implement this. So I 100% think that you should try this for, I'm going to say at least 2 weeks. Because your first week, I reckon you're going to have a lot of problems, a lot of tasks that you miss out on. But your second week, I think that you should probably have a lot of the things that you might have missed out on sort of ironed out and put into your schedule. So I 100% think you should try this for 2 weeks. The first week, sort of give it a go. Be as thorough as you possibly can. Of course, the more effort you put in, the more results that you're going to get out. So make sure you approach it with a good mindset. And the second week, basically, you should have everything ironed out that might surprise you. And then see if you were more productive. See if you were more, you achieved what it is that you wanted to do. And have a sort of short-term goal at the end of the 2 weeks. So, for example, be like, I want to be able to do this many workouts. I want to be able to hit this many sales. Whatever it is relative to you, there's certain activities that you really want to get done, and monitor it. So by the end of the 2 weeks, be like, okay, well, yeah, I did hit that. I did hit that. And see if you were more productive than the 2 weeks before. I know that you won't have anything else to compare it to other than your mind. like all your memory, but that's an indication of whether or not this is actually going to improve your life. Because I seriously think that no matter what, if you apply this, literally, like exact step-by-step, capture, process, organize, review, and engage, no matter what, you're going to be a more productive person. Well, anyways, guys, that's it for Quick Notes with Chris-On. So, but don't stop there. Keep looking at the other videos we have on the channel. Like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend if you think that it might be able to help them. But we'll see you guys in the next one. But don't stop there whenever it comes to improvement or putting yourself in a better position for success. See ya!